Justin Gaethje says he doesn't respect Conor McGregor. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Renee Box Young. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, sharing, showing your support, tuning into the videos, you know what I mean? Commenting in the comment sections, tuning into lives. Thank you so much. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Renee Box Young. You know, for new listeners, a platform where we simply discuss, critique, analyze the sport of boxing, and lots more. As you can see back there in my, icon or whatever you want to call it, Renee Box Young Boxing, and lots more. So we talk about more, you know what I mean? When you go back to my channel, you can check it out. From time to time, I talk about bare knuckle fighting championship, BKFC, and a little bit of UFC sometimes, because sometimes you see, when it comes to MMA, mixed martial arts, you see, the element of boxing, in the performances of certain fighters. Some time ago, I talked about the, Gaethje versus Poirier fight and lead up to it, had a live session and broke down. It was a different fight, but I gave a post-fight reaction with Gaethje and Poirier, and also in the lead up of Khabib versus Gaethje, had a breakdown session there. Live session. It was great, good stuff with a good childhood friend. You can go check it out on my channel. I'll leave it at the end of this video, as a matter of fact, so you can check it out. This Poirier and Conor McGregor fight, I appreciated for the fact that Poirier, he boxes. He does bring boxing into his, in his style, in his performances in that octagon. So, when he fought Gaethje, as a matter of fact, Poirier and Gaethje, when they fought, it was a lot of boxing. I definitely appreciated the skills. I think that Gaethje is a little better in boxing, when he boxes in the octagon. But Poirier's okay, and he was bringing that, against Conor McGregor. If you saw the fight, right? Beautiful leg kicks, to Conor, and to the extent, it injured him because he was walking out after the fight. He left the, that island or what have you, in a crutch. So really effective leg kicks and boxing. It was nice. Conor McGregor was doing quite well too, against Poirier. But I want you guys to see what Gaethje has been saying, and this intertwines with the sport of boxing because of the whole politics that we see, and you see it also in the UFC. You also see it in the UFC, and it's a sad situation, honestly. So we have here TMZ Sports, link in the description, check it out, right? It's at UFC's Justin Gaethje rips McGregor. Love seeing a piece of bleep, okay? Get put down. But why? Let's get to this. He says, quote, I love seeing a loudmouth get knocked out. Ouch. So, the thing here, guys, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people call it, marketing. A lot of people say, that, oh yeah, Conor McGregor, he's acting like that. He acts like that, cocky and, big-headed or what have you, because it's a marketing strategy. You go back when Conor fought Khabib. Khabib wasn't playing that marketing gig. He wasn't. Khabib's a serious guy. I really respect Khabib, man. Definitely. And he wasn't playing that stuff. In the lead up to the fight between Khabib and McGregor, like I said, from time to time I watch MMA. I watch, UFC. I enjoy it sometimes, but I don't watch it too much. I mostly focus on boxing, as you know, but I do appreciate, all combat sports. And you go back to the lead up of Conor McGregor and Khabib. Khabib wasn't playing around. He's not a joker, you know what I mean? And he took things seriously, and he took it out in the octagon. And while they were fighting, I remember while Khabib and Conor were going at it, you know what I mean? Conor was saying something like, it's just business, with the whole thing, what he was doing, offending Khabib. Even I think he even got to religion or something of that nature, offending Khabib's religion, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. But, Khabib was offended. And, Conor started screaming out, during the fight, yeah, it's business. And, Khabib wasn't playing that business talk. He wasn't playing that. He doesn't fall into that. And getting back to this, I get what, Gaethje's saying. He says, I love seeing a loudmouth, get knocked out. I understand that, because sometimes I think, personally, in my humble opinion, Conor just, I think he just goes overboard with his whole, how he does things, I don't know, man. And it offends a lot of fighters, man. It does really offend and disrespect a lot of fighters. Gaethje's one of them, you know what I'm saying? And so he says, I don't feel bad for him. over Conor's loss and how Poirier knocked him, man. He says, I'm happy for Poirier. I'm happy Poirier went out there and did his job and finished him. And he continues to say, there's nothing that makes me happier. Seeing a piece of, you know what, right? I keep it clean. Those are our new listeners. I keep it clean here, man. Seeing a piece of, bleep, get put down. Wow, that was great. I loved it. Oh my gosh. Gaethje, he says here, who's previously told TMZ that McGregor has been ducking him for years, went on to explain why Conor is delusional if he thinks he still deserves a title shot in the UFC stacked lightweight division. Now, this is something else I want to point out. Let's get to this. Okay, look what Gaethje says. He says, what do they have him ranked at? Number 6? I think he should be ahead of Tony Ferguson in the rankings. But for him to come out and say he wants a title shot next, a rematch versus Poirier or his coach, they are bleeping idiots. And this is why, he explains all this. Look, he says, this is why he's saying this, okay? He says, Conor has been treated special over and over. And he didn't capitalize on this opportunity. That I agree with him there. Now, we got to understand this, ladies and gentlemen. This was some time ago, okay? I want you to, some time ago, Conor McGregor, when he did this whole crazy thing, in some stadium or arena backstage, doing, vandalizing with a team of people, and Dana White came out and said, this is disgusting what Conor did. This is disgusting what Conor did. And I don't know what's going to happen. And, what did he do? He just gave him a slap on the wrist and he came right back to UFC. And Dana White was kind of alluding to, like, I don't want to do business with him anymore. But obviously he was just, I didn't believe in Dana White because, Conor brings in the bucks. He brings in the money. He brings in the revenue. And I agree, okay? I agree with Gaethje that he's been treated special over and over because he's bringing in the money for Dana White. He's bringing in the money for Dana White, and you know what I mean? I personally do think he has been given special treatment, and I agree with Gaethje, okay? Maybe controversial what Gaethje's saying or whatever, but I agree with him, okay? So he continues to say that event was for him. That event was for him to win, and he wants to be Mr. Humble now. But, he would be if he won that fight. I mean, I agree, man. I mean, that's the thing. Maybe. I'm not saying 100, it would have been like that. But had Conor won, he'd probably just be, strutting around like, it is what it is. So I definitely agree with Gaethje, man. And he says there's more. Gaethje, who's currently ranked 2, the article continues to say, Gaethje, who's currently ranked number 2, says he would think about leaving the UFC if Conor gets to cut the line for another title shot. Check this out, guys. He says, quote, that would be preposterous. For one, he's sitting at number 6. He's won one fight in his entire life in the lightweight division, and he picks and chooses who he fights. Wow. So I have no respect for him in that manner. I mean, wow. Gaethje says he still wants to fight Conor, but I don't think it should be my next fight. I mean, I personally think that would be a great fight, but I understand Gaethje's point of view. And why do I say that this intermingles, this mixes in with boxing? It's because you see the same thing in boxing. You see how preferential treatment is given to certain fighters. I mean, facts are facts, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of crookedness in the sport of boxing, and we see it in the UFC also. Gaethje coming out and explaining it. You know what I'm saying? And I totally agree with Gaethje. And you know what I'm saying? And I understand why he says he doesn't respect Conor. Now, let me say this. I was going to say it earlier, but I didn't. Let me just say this. I do respect all combat sports fighters, man. I mean, I give my hats off. I take my hats off to all of them. Whether it be Conor, whether it be whoever. We got to understand, ladies and gentlemen, these guys come in and risk their lives. We say it time and time again for the sport of boxing, right? We say it time and time again. Those guys go in there and risk their lives. So do UFC fighters. So do MMA fighters. So do kickboxers. I mean, those kicks and punches they take, ladies and gentlemen, it's no joke. You can, I mean, a guy can lose their life. A woman can lose their life in that octagon, you know what I mean? Or wherever, whatever sport it is, kickboxing in Thailand or what have you, around the world, all these, combat sports, you can definitely lose your life, so I gotta say that, okay? I gotta say that I definitely respect all fighters. It's just amazing what these people do, the discipline, the lifestyles they live, a lot of these MMA fighters really they're really about that lifestyle, and they live disciplined lives, and they're really, determined and perform amazingly in that octagon, and I understand, though, Gaethje's point of view. He lost respect for Conor because what he just explained, he's just, throughout so many years, Conor has been so, you know, loudmouth, disrespecting so many fighters, referring to what I just said a moment ago. And that's just one little example with Khabib, how he disrespected Khabib, and Khabib went in and smashed him, you know, and he said, I'm not playing this, you know, marketing gig with you, Conor, you know. And it looks like Gaethje's rubbed, you know, the wrong way too by Conor and how he is. And I'm sure he, you know, Conor has offended a lot of fighters, you know, and just lacks that respect towards opponents. And but I have seen, to a certain extent, you know, Conor quite humble after this Poirier fight. I mean, you know, it is what it is, man. Poirier, hats off to him, great boxing. You know, maybe not the best concerning, you know, when you compare it to boxers, pro boxers, but I mean, I appreciate his boxing abilities in that octagon, and definitely Justin Gaethje's. I reiterate one more time, Justin Gaethje did a nice, you know, he performed nicely when he boxed against Poirier, man. Justin Gaethje's he boxes more in that octagon, you know. He has a little wrestling. He has a lot of wrestling background, as a matter of fact, but it just seems like he doesn't perform that much in the octagon. You know, when he fought Khabib, you know, I think personally Gaethje should have wrestled and brought those skills out that he has in wrestling, you know, when it comes to when he fought Khabib, but it didn't happen. But it is what it is, right? But interesting what Gaethje's saying, you know, about this whole situation, about Conor, man, and how he's very happy to see he's very happy to see what happened, you know, when he fought Poirier. Wow. It is what it is, man. We'll see what happens next. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, sharing. Renee Box Young. Stay safe. Peace out, family.